The most iconic battles involving the Galactic Empire. Chapter 1, The Founding War. The burning of Orion Prime. Before the Galactic Empire stretched its iron grip across the stars, it was a fledgling power, a single system seeking dominion over the fractured remnants of the Orion Federation. The Federation, once mighty, had splintered into warring factions, and humanity saw its chance to seize the throne of the stars. The war raged for a decade, but no moment was as decisive as the burning of Orion Prime. The Federation's capital world, a jewel of civilization, became the site of the Empire's most infamous campaign. Admiral Elias Vorn, a legend in the making, led the charge. His fleet, a brutal armada of dreadnoughts, cut through the Federation's defenses like a plasma torch through steel. Orbital bombardments turned the grand spires of Orion Prime into molten slag. Billions perished in fire and ruin. The survivors whispered the name of Vorn with fear and reverence, for he had shown them the future, a future where defiance meant obliteration. And with Orion Prime's fall, the Empire was born. Chapter 2, The Uprising of Xari, the Empire's greatest trial. Not all species welcomed humanity's rule. The Xari, a proud warrior race, saw themselves as the galaxy's true heirs. They refused to be OW.AT first. The Empire underestimated them. But when the Xari massacred an entire Imperial colony, the Empire's wrath was absolute. Fleet Marshal Helena Draxus led the counterattack, launching a full-scale assault on Xar, the enemy homeworld. Yet, the Xari had prepared for decades, transforming their world into a fortress. Their warriors, clad in ceramite armor, met the Empire's legions in brutal ground combat, while their warships dueled the Imperial Navy in a desperate bid for survival. For 3 years, the war raged, testing the Empire's resolve. Then came Draxus's gambit. Project Helios. Imperial engineers unleashed a stellar manipulator, disrupting Xara's sun and triggering a catastrophic solar storm. The planet's skies burned as fire rained from the heavens. The Xari fought to the last, but in the end, they were ashes. The Empire did not simply win, it annihilated. And the galaxy understood resistance was not just futile. It was suicidal. Chapter 3, The Battle of the Silent Abyss. The Empire faces extinction. For centuries, the Empire seemed unstoppable. Then came the Devourers. No one knew where they came from, only that they consumed everything. Planets, fleets, civilizations. The Empire met them in open war, but no battle was more pivotal than the one in the Silent Abyss, an uncharted region where the Devourers had built a horrific spawning ground. Grand Admiral Thalassius commanded the last Imperial fleet, knowing that if they failed here, the Empire would crumble. For 13 hours, the void was ablaze with war. Swarms of Devourer bioships crashed into Imperial hulls, their claws rending steel, their energy beams melting warships into slag. The Imperial fleet fought like a cornered beast, hammering the enemy with planet-cracking torpedoes and superheated plasma. Then, in an act of final defiance, Thalassius ordered the Revenant, the largest dreadnought ever built, to detonate its antimatter core at the heart of the enemy fleet. The explosion ignited the abyss itself. In the aftermath, the Devourers retreated, broken. The Empire had bled, but it had survived. Chapter 4, The Fall of Terra, the Empire's twilight. No empire lasts forever. Terra, the cradle of humanity, stood for millennia as the heart of the Galactic Empire. But in the end, it burned like all the rest. A coalition of rebellious worlds, hardened by centuries of Imperial oppression, launched the final strike. Led by the enigmatic warlord known as the Last Sun, they came with vengeance in their hearts and fleets strong enough to shatter the Imperial core. The siege of Terra lasted 2 years. The Imperial Palace, once a monument to the Empire's grandeur, became its tomb. On the final day, the Last Sun stood over the shattered throne, gazing at the broken remains of what was once the greatest empire the galaxy had ever known. But even as the Empire fell, its legacy endured. For though the Galactic Empire was dead, its legends would never fade. Would you like any adjustments? Maybe a different battle added?